Jack? Jack is dead, my friend. You can call me Joker. And as you can see, I'm a lot happier.
So this is Louis, and welcome back to the hell that is Clown World. For today, I'm not going to talk about some of the news stories that have been coming out in the last few days and weeks even, because I just don't feel like talking about them. They're boring, and I don't want to talk about gaming either, because I always know that I can only focus on gaming too much before people say you're focusing too much on gaming. So here is a wonkish video where I'm going to talk about the upcoming election. And I'm probably going to title this something like Dead Man Walking with a picture of Joe Biden as the thumbnail. Because despite what's being said by the media and by the wonks, the pollsters, like all these people, it doesn't mesh. What they're saying doesn't mesh to what I know as someone with a degree in political science. And I get the feeling, as it always is, that the smartest people in the room, the intelligentsia of politics, they're all fucking lying. And you could say it's because they want Trump to lose. You can say it's because they want to sensationalize what is otherwise likely going to be an unsensational, boring, run-of-the-mill election where the outcome is pretty predictable, and I think it is going to be. You can debate what you think, and I tell you to say in the comment section to debate it what you think the reasoning is for what we're going to be talking about here. Why the intelligentsia and what they say, the wonks, the political wonks of the world, the people who know more than I do this every damn day of the week, why they're saying something that isn't connecting to reality. Why is that? Are they just momentarily stupid? Is it something you can write off as, oh, Trump derangement syndrome, just write it off, we're done? Or is it lying, sensationalism? What is it? Because I'm telling you, and I'm going to talk about it here, that they've been saying repeatedly that this election is going to be closer than what you think it is, that Trump is really on the ropes. He's got a lot to play in order to actually win his re-election, which is this year. When, if you look, and it's more than that, and I'm telling you, if you follow politics in the way that I do, like, this is daily, this is fucking daily, that, because this is all they do. This is all these people do every day of the week, is focus on politics. And politics, in many ways, is a science, because while there are upsets, and there are times where expectations are not met, and where all the polls are wrong, and everyone's expectations are wrong, etc., etc., I'm sure many of you will wisely point to 2016, wherever all the intelligentsia were proven wrong. But there is a science to this. There are facts to politics. Because politics is not new. This is, I mean, what? More than a millennia old? Like, going back to the BC era of, like, sophists and rhetoricians in fucking Athens? Like, politics is extremely old. And irrespective of how many years have passed, certain things just don't change. We're going back thousands of years. And rhetoric is just as effective now as it was then. Humanity, while we can achieve so much, we should never lose touch with the fact that we still are a species. We're not like this, utopian galaxy-brained race of fucking Ubermensch that are purely rational, I guess would be the best way to characterize it, of how academics view humanity. When so much about humanity, and I'm not being a pessimist or a nihilist in this, I'm not mocking this, but I am saying that in terms of realism, humanity is still susceptible to what we've always been susceptible to. And you have to just learn to cope, or I guess cope is probably a bad word to use in modern day context because it's like a meme. But you should learn to accept humanity's flaws for what they are. And while we can always pursue a greater ideal, and I think that's what we should be doing, we have to learn to accept that just because you can have this abstract concept of what humanity is or what it should be does not mean that that is what humanity is. And just because humanity is what it is doesn't mean that you have to look at it in some perspective of disdain, because that to me is the pure sign of you being some nihilistic or arrogant philosopher king that thinks you've worked out the fucking world just because you've come to the conclusion that humanity is not perfectly rational. Like, wow, congratulations. You're God on high for figuring that shit out. A bit of a tangent, but the point I want to make with that tangent is to say that with politics, it's not just a numbers game. It's not something that you can say, well, based on this amount of money in, these are the results we're going to get. Based on this amount of advertisement, based on, we're going to have this person speak here, we're going to have the fundraise here. Like, as much as politics is a science, it isn't just pure rationality. It isn't just pure numbers. It isn't you looking at like a spreadsheet and you can determine what the outcome of an election is. Because here's an example. There is a concept, and it is factual. This is something true about politics called the incumbent advantage. The incumbent advantage is the fact that if you have already been elected to office, you have an extraordinarily high chance of being reelected. Now, there are exceptions, there are upsets, the rest of it. But in large part, those are the exceptions. The incumbent advantage is true. Sometimes there are exceptions, but as it said, it proves the rule. And that is, once you win, you have an automatic advantage of being reelected once you're in office. So that is something about politics that can be measured. And it's very simple. Are you elected? Well, it doesn't matter even if you're unpopular. You still have an advantage. And I'll post an article just that talks about it, where it has several different components to it. And I'm sure I could find a study that talks about the more psychological side of it, that people naturally are more willing to pull the lever. And it's for a variety of reasons, like factors for why people are willing to pull the lever for some name that they know, for someone that's already gained that office. I believe, based on Trump already being famous, that he has an unnatural or irregular incumbent advantage. This is someone that is famous in American culture and has been for an incredibly long time. The Trump brand is an important brand to have. It's a name that many, many people know prior to Donald Trump running for president. That is an advantage that most candidates, most politicians do not have. Most, if not near totality, they do not have that advantage. This is one of the things that I don't see included in talking about the upcoming election. This is probably something that played into him winning in 2016, was being culturally famous prior to running. It doesn't matter if most people saw him as a freaking asshole. Because the fact is that even if people think he's an asshole, some rich asshole from New York City, the guy's not a child rapist. He's not a cannibal. He's not someone famous for being unspeakably evil. He's not a serial killer. This is someone that is culturally famous for being rich and successful, even if you want to debate how successful he's been. I see very few articles that discuss the incumbent advantage itself, but also the fact that with Trump, he has a atypical incumbent advantage in his favor that I don't see accounted for. Another element of politics in the electoral cycle is your enthusiasm as a candidate. How excited are blue voters or Team Red voters? How excited are they to pull the lever for you? And what is simple fact as it relates to elections is the fact that enthusiasm among your supporters is important to you being elected or reelected. It unquestionably plays a part in turnout. So how many of your supporters are going to show up at the voting booths to vote for you. Vote for you. You'll have tens of millions that say that they're going to support Trump. A smaller amount are going to show up to the polls. It's just, the matter is how many will show up. I think that should be a adequate explanation so that you understand this. So we have a very big number for people that say they support you, generally, and then you have a number of how many people are actually going to show up to vote for you. And depending on what that number is, it can make or break an election. As far as I can tell, Trump's enthusiasm among the Republican base is atypically high. His enthusiasm among Republicans, and this can change if he fucks up, but based on the numbers as they are, there is high enthusiasm among Republicans to vote for Trump in November. That is another advantage Trump has, and very specifically, Biden does not. Biden has atypically low support, record low support, decades old, record low support. A clear minority of Democrats are enthusiastic about voting for Biden. That is not good if you are the Democratic Party, if you are a Democrat loyalist, and so on, if you want to get Trump out of office. Like, at this point, you should be, uprooting the floorboard, ripping everything up and throwing out the kitchen sink, just to try to push this guy up. And I do not see that. I do not see the DNC, Democrat loyalists. I don't really see them pulling out all stops like with Hillary Clinton. And while I understand that it's not June, that we still have months to go to November, even when it was months to go to November when it came to Hillary Clinton, there was a non-stop, what would it be, like tidal wave of media, of campaigning towards Hillary Clinton. Like, people said that Hillary Clinton did poorly in her campaigning, and she did to some extent. But there was far, far more enthusiasm, organic and, AstroTurf. But with Biden, I don't see that. I legitimately do not see the tidal wave of support that I saw for Hillary Clinton, where there were people that wanted to vote for Hillary Clinton. There were people among every different group that were trying to defeat Trump, where there was an active, national, authentic, and like I said, artificial apparatus set up, so on both levels, pushing for her to win. You can debate how many people actually gave a shit about her, but the fact is that I originally thought, up until Election Day, that Hillary was going to win because she had a proper level of support that you can plausibly see her winning. So the people that say she had no chance and shit like that, you're out of your mind. She did have a strong chance of winning that election. It was just that she had enough unfavorable, she had enough missteps, and the fact is that Trump had the far more enthusiasm than she did. That buoyed his support up where it mattered, and because of that, despite having the popular vote, it didn't matter. Trump handily won that election, and it was because he did enough things right, his support was strong, and he led a good campaign. It wasn't perfect, but it was better than Hillary's. And he had far more authentic support than she did, clearly. And that's what won him that election. And I'm telling you, in my position now, Biden doesn't even come close to having that level of support. He doesn't have, irrespective of authentic or artificial, he has neither. I don't see either. None. Like, it's unbelievably quiet support. Like, it's not enthusiastic. So I can believe the articles, even if they're from the mainstream media, saying that his level of enthusiasm among Democrats, among supporters, among his base, that it is unbelievably low. I can believe that. because I pay attention to politics and I do not see that support. This is all preface to us getting to these polls. And these are not polls that are from some crazy source. I've checked these polls, and I'm getting them from Real Clear Politics, because I've checked them, whatever it is, 538, and I've checked it from a bunch of different websites, and these appear to be just consistent. There are a couple point differences between different sites, but these have the averages, and I believe these are the averages that are the best that we're going to get from polling. So when you look at these polls in the states that matter, they're unbelievable. These polls are unbelievable. I'm sitting here looking at these polls, and I am telling you that I cannot believe that this is what the pollsters are coming up with, that this is what they say are going to be the results. If you look at every single one of these battleground states that fucking Trump won, that are critical to his election, that are critical to the election period, he loses every single one. And the only one that makes, like, it's back and forth, is Ohio, where there's no clear numbers yet. But every one of these other states, it's Biden, 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 Biden. Biden's winning all of these states by somewhere to like anywhere from 3 to like 7 points. And I look at these and I'm like, where is he getting this support? Where in the world is Biden getting the support to bump him in some of these polls by over 5 points? How is that even conceivable? What's also telling is, even with these battleground states, and I saw one of the average for like Texas was something like 2.5 points in Trump's favor. It's like, Texas? And they even had Biden winning Arizona. It's like, fucking what? What the fuck are you talking about? I'm in no way a partisan telling people what they want to hear. I'm not someone looking at this from a biased perspective, because like I said, up until election day of 2016, I thought Hillary was going to win. It was only on election day that I sat back, I looked at everything, and I never even said it publicly because I didn't want to look like an asshole. I said to myself, Trump has a legitimate chance at winning this because Hillary Clinton has simply made so many fatal mistakes, and they are clearly not representing the on-the-ground facts of which ways people are going in the key states that matter. These are being misreported. They're not being accurately portrayed. If people were being honest, then I would have been willing to come out and say, oh, I know how this is going to go. Here's my prediction. And I would have said it up until election day, it was going to be Hillary Clinton. But on election day, I would have said, I think Trump's going to win based on what I'm seeing here. Based on what I'm seeing, what I'm reading, based on my analysis of someone with a degree, I think he's going to win. But I was compromised in that way. I was compromised by the fear of looking like a fucking idiot. When, again, it was that reading something and it not meeting reality. Looking at numbers that were obviously false. They were obviously ridiculous. You know, looking at the difference in actual provable enthusiasm, and then reading a story that says the absolute opposite, and that not, you know, the what's being said not meeting reality as I see it. So if you look at this electoral map of the results for 2016, Trump won certain states that were an upset and that were close. Florida and Pennsylvania were close. Michigan was even closer. I don't see Wisconsin here, so I can't give you what the exact was in Wisconsin. It seems to be really close as well. So, in terms of the battleground states that he won, apparently Arizona was close too by some degree, although the difference I see is 4 points, so that's not super close. I don't know why it's... Anyways, the states that he needs to win in the last election, he dominated in. And this is without the incumbent advantage. This is without 4 years of being elected. This is previously having no experience and running against a fairly strong candidate. The most seasoned fucking idiot that the Democrats had at their disposal. That's who they had. And he won a slew of states that in 2012 went for the Democrats, that were battleground states. He won them. In Ohio, it says here plus 8.5 points. Like, that's a fucking unbelievable win for a battleground state. Like, that's not the 1.1 or, 0.2 in Michigan. 8.5 points? That's a fucking blowout for a state that went Democrat in 2012. And that is a state you need to win. So when you look at the polls they got now, and it's like fucking, I don't know, it was looking Biden for a while, and maybe it's +3 right now for Trump in this poll. It's like, fucking what? How? Like, how the fuck do you have it +8 for Biden? How can you conceive of this being +8 for Biden when Trump won this by over 8 points in the previous election? How in the world, if Biden is going to win Ohio, it is going to be by a fucking squeaker. It is going to be by 0.2. There's no way in hell a weak candidate with an unenthused base is going to take this battleground state that Donald Trump raped into submission for being Republican by fucking 8 points. He's not taking it by 8 points. This is what I mean. This is what we're being told, what I'm being shown, and reality. These things, they're not matching up. This is like a puzzle piece. As I say, you're mashing it into the board. What is this? What am I seeing here? It's unbelievable to me. And it's frustrating because I'm not here to be a partisan. I'm not here to go rah-rah Trump. I'm sure you can tell at this point in this commentary. I'm not here to just, I'm going to be pithy and dismissive about Biden, but it's because he's a demonstrably weak candidate. And I'm not saying, oh, rah-rah Sanders, he's going to take it too. I'm saying Biden is a weak candidate. As far as I can tell, he's weaker than Romney was in 2012. He's unequivocally weaker than, let's say, Biden versus McCain. Clearly weaker than McCain. Demonstrably weaker than McCain. And Romney. And you fucking think, you're fucking telling me this guy is gonna sweep, and this is what they're telling me. This fucking cocksucker is going to sweep the battleground states. Are you fucking kidding me? Are you legitimately? I am asking the wonks of the world, the pollsters of the world. Are you legitimately fucking with me? Are you fucking with me? With this shit? Why in the world? How? I should say this. How in the world are you coming to these conclusions? How in the world are you telling me that this fucking guy is going to sweep all of these battleground states? How? Seriously, that is my question. How? It is, the odds are, like, I'm not the level of wonk that I could be, that I should be, I guess, maybe, if I'm worth a shit, my degree's worth a shit. I could, if I really wanted to, try to pull together the data sets to run these numbers to try to figure out how you square this fucking circle to get to this result. But I have to just assume that the data you're collecting is erroneous. Across the board. Across several organizations. How the fuck do you get this result where Joe Biden is sweeping every one of these fucking states? It's simply not possible. It is not possible. If you told me he takes Florida, He takes back Wisconsin. He takes Michigan. He takes Pennsylvania. You tell me he wins a handful of these states, a few of these states, several of these states even is a little bit of a matter that I'm going to start taking issue with. But a sweep of every one of these states. He's going to take all of these fucking states? I don't think so. It's not implausible. It's impossible. It is never in a million fucking years going to happen. Trump could roll into Florida. I'll say Ohio instead. Trump could roll into Ohio, take a shit in front of every person in Ohio, flip the birds to every person in Ohio, and in my view, still have the advantage of winning that state. I'm going to stop stressing it, just because I don't want to repeat myself too much in this, because you have to understand, I'm just flummoxed by these numbers. Where they're getting these numbers from. Like, who are they collecting this information from? Did they go to the Democrat convention and do these numbers? Did they go to some sort of, like, DNC committee and run these numbers and take these numbers from the people there? Like, where are you getting these fucking numbers? These are unreal. I want to do a video where I give you my best guess. I want to give you my plausible explanation, my plausible prediction, so that you can follow along, follow my train of thought, look at the numbers I'm giving you, and then say, you know what, I think he's right, or he's more right than wrong, something like that. But I can't even give that to you, because it's like, I can tell you all the advantages that Trump has, the slight disadvantages he doesn't. As I've already said, it has to do with the finicky voters, the issue-based voters. They're the ones that are going to take issue with Trump. The issue-based voters, people like me. But we're the minority. The majority are Team Red, Team Blue, and that is a fucking fact. And once that's established as a fact, which is undeniable, then it's just a matter of enthusiasm. How willing are these people to go out and vote for that candidate? What is your prediction based on the enthusiasm that we can poll? And even there, it's not mathematics where it's to a degree that you can demonstrate it over and over again 1,000 times to make it like a fact of the matter. It's a matter of plausibility. That is it. That's the best you're going to get. However, we can't even get that far. We can't even get to the level of plausibility, because it's like I say, we have factors that we can demonstrate, that we can measure, that we know are facts as it relates to how elections turn out, to what plays into election turnout, and the outcome, ultimately, the results. But it's like, we can show this, we can look at this, but when it comes to the actual numbers for these battleground states, we got fucking nothing. We have pure errors. Nothing but fucking nonsense. I already said, I don't even remember what the name is, 538, whatever it is. His numbers are dog shit, and they have been for quite a while. So I don't even want to cite him, but he is the wonk of the wonks that everyone in the mainstream media still takes seriously, even though he's been wrong over and over again. And it's like, even with him, like, it's like, even his numbers, they're even worse than Real Clear Politics. They're even more out of stuff. They're even more in favor of Biden. +5, +7, +9. It's like, if you said New York, I'd believe you, but fucking some of these states that Trump won, are you kidding? Come on with this shit. Who believes this? Who believes this? I mean, the fact that, like, this in the mainstream news is getting articles written, and it's not people mocking the pollsters, mocking the wonks. It's unbelievable to me. It's like, you're telling me with the level of advantages this guy has and the level of disadvantages that fucking Biden has, if Biden shows up to do an in-person debate with Trump, Donald Trump is going to embarrass him. The debates with Hillary Clinton were fucking crazy. Donald Trump is going to fucking gut Joe Biden on stage. He is going to gut him like a fucking fish and, put on like a meat hook, his carcass on a meat hook, and just let everyone fucking see it. And I don't say that as someone who's giddy to see that. I feel bad for Joe Biden. I legitimately think he should not be running. Nominate that fat black woman who just got that stupid photo done for, like, Time Magazine. Nominate somebody. But Joe Biden has legitimate old person issues, and he should not be running in this election. The debates between him and Trump will damage his chances. What was it last time? 3 debates? 4 debates? I think it was 3. Even if they limit to, let's say, 2, they somehow manage to get it down to 2. Donald Trump is going to gut Joe Biden like a fucking fish in front of the entire nation. Probably, 20 million people are going to see that? It's not probably going to be even close to 100 million. But tens of millions are going to see those debates, and it is going to be Joe Biden being beaten in a way where you will see people in the audience crying out to stop. Stop the fight. Throw in the fucking towel. Make it stop. Because Donald Trump is aggressive. He's not tepid. He's nice. He's not going to give Joe any fucking quarter. He's going to ruin him. This is going to be like a fucking rape in a visual novel. Make it stop. I will probably be unable to watch them. I will be unable to stomach the rape that is going to be portrayed to the public, the murder, the snuff film that will be these debates. I don't want to see it. I can't take it. It's going to be so bad. I'm going to see all these right-wing partisans, like the professional Republicans, including people like, Steven Crowder and others, just being like, A. Lamau, watch Joe Biden get gutted on stage by Trump in a completely sadistic manner. Like, Trump is going to have this, because he doesn't really smile too much. He is going to have the widest Joker fucking smile on his face. Jack Nicholson from, Joker 1989, gutting him on the fucking stage. I don't want to fucking see that. I don't want to cheer that on. It doesn't make me feel good. I don't understand your sadistic partisan glee. Make it stop. End it. It's going to be so fucking bad. Once that happens, okay, I say this for this sake. Once that happens, it will depress his enthusiasm even more. It will make his supporters even that much less enthused to show up. He will have, I think, enthusiasm so low that you will have to go back well beyond my lifetime to find so little support. So little enthusiasm, I should say specifically. You'll have to go beyond my lifetime to find that little enthusiasm for a candidate. And I think it's going to be the debates that push it to that direction. Because we're already at fucking record levels, record lows, specifically, for Biden. But I'm telling you, after those fucking debates, after that snuff film is debuted for us all to see, it's not going to get better for Biden. There's no way. He could be high on coke, Addy, and fucking, think whatever else stimulates your fucking brain to make you sharper than what you actually are. There's no way. There's no way this guy's going to be able to handle this guy, to handle Trump. Trump has not lost a step. He's as aggressive as he was then. He's so fucking aggressive. Oh, no. I will conclude by saying that as it stands now, despite the numbers that are coming out, I think that it is highly unlikely that Joe Biden will take back more than one of these battleground states that he needs. Not I was going to say desperately. No, he needs to win. He simply needs to win the election. I do not think he is capable of taking back any more than plausibly one of these crucial, critical, necessary states to win in order to even win the Electoral College. He's not capable. He doesn't have the support. He doesn't have the enthusiasm. He has a growing number of disadvantages, scandals, skeletons following him as time goes on. Not less. Not where Trump's getting loaded up for his own. No, it's the opposite. Trump's looking brighter and brighter. He's just as aggressive. Biden's looking worse and worse as time goes on. The best he's possible of doing, Biden, is taking back one of these states that he needs to win. As for every one of these other states, he's not taking them. For right now, I'll say. He's not taking any of these other states. And I'll let you pick and choose what state you think he has a chance at winning. But in my view, no more than one. No more than one as it stands right now. Maybe Trump has a heart attack, or something crazy happens, a crazy scandal happens with Trump, and it critically wounds him in terms of his election and his capability of winning, and suppressing his vote, or something happens that drastically changes the numbers, where Trump's disadvantages and his enthusiasm drops, and like several factors happen at once to where Trump is severely wounded. It's possible. But until that happens, that is my prediction. No more than one of these fucking states. And without more than one, Joe Biden has a 0% chance of taking this fucking White House. 0% chance as it stands now. There's a lot that has to happen. There's a lot that has to happen in order for that to change. And if I'm wrong, which I'm more than willing to say that I don't have the information to give you a good explanation. I simply don't have the information at my disposal because of how wacky things are. If I'm wrong and you disagree, give me a counter argument and I will look at it. I'm not saying that this is something I'm putting every penny on. I haven't said anything to that extent. I can be wrong. I don't think we have enough information yet to make a serious prediction. But as it stands, based on what I can see, 0%. I'm sorry, but like how is it possible? You give me your explanation. Give me your argument, and I'll wait. I'll look at it. But as it stands, bro, fucking forget it. Make it stop. Make the pain stop. Just give Trump the win. Just give him the W now. Take the L, Democrats. Just end this farce. I don't want it to continue. It's too painful. Make it stop. But I will leave it there. Thanks for listening.